In this video, we're going to use ON1 Effects as a standalone application. Whenever we open up ON1 Effects, we're met with this screen here. And this is just asking us which photo we want to take in and start applying filters to. If you're not sure which photo you want to modify or you're really new to photo editing, I'd recommend just clicking Open Sample Photo. That will open a raw sample image for you and you can start modifying it inside of Effects. If you know which photo you would like to edit and you know the location of it, just click Edit Photo, and now you can browse to whichever photo you would like to edit and then open it. I'm just going to click Open Sample Photo. So now inside ON1 Effects, let's first start with this left side of our screen here. This left side of our screen right here, this is the tool well of ON1 Effects. This is going to house all of the tools that you can use to modify your images. If you're not sure what a tool does, just hover over it. It will give you a description, a little video with it in use, and also a keyboard shortcut that you can use to access it later. If you want to learn more about that tool, just go and click Learn How. Below that, we have this icon right here. This is going to open up our preset drawer inside ON1 Effects. So now we can go up and we can view all of the preset categories in ON1 Effects that we can use to stylize our photos. If you want to see the preset looks of the filters, click on this Filters pane here. Now I have all of the different filters in ON1 Effects available to me, and if I click in them, it has all of their preset styles within that filter, so you can click on any of these and add a quick style. Let's go back to our presets. If you click on a preset category and you want to view larger thumbnails, just click on this icon here. Now you can have larger thumbnail previews of that preset. You can also modify the size by going down to this tool here. Once you like a preset, just click on it and it will apply it to your image. So let's go over and let's add a landscape preset, and let's just use this VL4. You can see when I add that preset, it's added on two different filters onto my photo and it's changed up the look a bit. Well, when I add a preset onto my shot, I can lower the look of the preset by modifying this fade slider. And I can make the preset less intense or more intense. Also, when it adds these filters onto my shot, I can always go in and I can readjust any of these settings within these filters to create my own custom look. So if I want to add more detail, I can go into this dynamic contrast filter and I'll just pull up on this small slider and that will incorporate more detail within my shot. But let's say you want to create your own custom look with your own picked filters. Well, you can just reset all of these settings on this image. I'm going to go over and I'll close this preset drawer. And then we'll head over to our Effects tab and we'll add our filter. Now in these filters, if you're not sure what a filter does, just hover over it. It will give you a before and after image, a description on what that filter does to your photo, and also some keywords that you can use to search for that filter later. So if you want to search for a filter that applies detail, all you have to do is type in detail, and now you have all of the filters that apply detail on your photograph. Let's just go in here and I'm going to apply a LUTs filter real quick. Now in these filters, whenever we apply one, we're going to have these preset looks in here that we can choose to add on quick looks in that filter. These preset styles in here are the same thing that are in the preset drawer in these filters categories. Once you add a filter, you can modify the opacity of it by just heading up to the top of it and lowering the opacity, and that will make it less intense. You can reset the filter by clicking on this, and you can close the filter and remove it from your shot by clicking the X. If you add a filter, let's say you add a few different filters, now you can modify all of these filters as a whole by going up to the Effects tab and lowering the opacity of your actual Effects tab. You can also redo any of the filters within the Effects tab by clicking on this here. If you add a look onto your shot, let's say you add a few different filters that you like. If you like this look on your photo and want to save it as a preset, you can save presets really quickly by just clicking on this icon here. Now I have this Save Preset window open, and I can name my preset, I can add it into a category, I can create my own, and then I can choose which of these adjustments I want to apply to my preset. At the bottom here, we can actually see the original version of our photograph just by clicking on Preview. You can also do this by hitting the # key on your keyboard. Also, if we want to see a slider version of the before and after screen to compare, we can click that here, and now we can use this slider to compare different before and after areas on our shot. Up in this local tab here, we can use this to modify the different local adjustments on our scene and apply modifications selectively. So in this local adjustment here, they're defaulted at -1 exposure, so they're automatically set to the darken preset. But if you want to change any of these settings, you can go ahead and do that. You can also modify it by using these presets. Let's say we want to add in a little bit more vibrance. We'll just click Vibrance here. And now it's showing me that my vibrance is up to 20. Let's just increase the saturation a bit as well. And with local adjustments, they aren't automatically applied to your photograph. You first have to either paint them in or use an adjustable gradient to see them on your shot. So I'm going to use my adjustable brush here, and I'm just going to brush this in on the bottom of my photo, and that's going to bring in a little bit of color into that grass. So if I turn this off and on now, you can see it's painted in a little bit of that bright saturation and vibrance boost strictly into this area on my shot. That's because I'm applying it selectively with a local adjustment. And it looks like I actually had my opacity at 48, so if I increase my opacity, it's going to paint on even more of this adjustment. To modify your brush, head up to the top tool modifier bar here, and you can modify whether you want to paint in an adjustment, paint out an adjustment to remove it. You can modify your brush size with this here, or you can use the bracket keys on your keyboard. You can modify the feathering here, which is basically the softness or hardness of your brush edge, and the opacity is going to determine how much or how little of that filter or adjustment you brush in or out from your scene. Now, once you've edited the photo the way you want it, there's a few different things you can do after. If we want to print that photo, we can just head over and click Print. And now we have all of these different settings in here that we can choose to print our image. We can choose our printer, modify our page size, and we can actually set up all of these different printing settings for ON1 Effects. You can also share it really quickly by just clicking on Share, and then you could mail the photo, message it, or my favorite, just airdrop it. If you want to export it into a folder, just go down to Export. And now we can choose our photo size, add a watermark, we could sharpen the image. Most importantly, we can choose our file type and location. And then if we wanted to rename it, we could just click it, enable it, and then we could rename it a custom name. Once you're saved with an edit and you want to save the look that you've adjusted, just head down and click Done. If you want to discard all of the edits, just click Cancel.